Congressman, good evening.
Thank you.
I hope the swelling is down by now after that experience. Leadership, Bachmann aside, knows what's at stake here. Their backers simply could not permit and not allow a default. Does your party, the members of your party, understand that this is a bluff, has to be a bluff from the Republican side?
Yeah, but, part of it is that they have to realize that they wanted to be in charge, and they're in charge now. This is exactly what went down in 1995 after the Republicans took over last time. They said, we're going to have our way or we're going to shut down government. And they're saying the same thing. And what was interesting about Michelle Bachmann, and I know it's hard to listen to her without your hair falling out, but she was saying, well, it's the Democrats' job to raise the debt limit. We want no part of it. And she's actually circulating a letter urging her Republican colleagues to vote no. They have to understand that they now have the obligation to put some of their campaign promises, however vapid they might be, put them into play. And this is a serious thing. Now, I believe that we as Democrats, we should work with the Republicans to try to do responsible things. But I refuse to be the only party that's going to have fidelity to governance here and let Michelle Bachmann and her ilk say, all right, I'm going to keep voting no on these things and bear no responsibility.
So, but if all the Republicans vote no on raising the debt limit, then the debt limit does not get raised.
That's
and
exactly
consequences are immediate and global.
That's exactly right. They wanted to be in charge.
Right.
They wanted to run the House. They wanted to get elected. Well, now they have the job that goes with it. I don't know how those algorithms in Google work, but when you put in hypocrisy after these guys, it should come up, the Republican Congress, because just about everything that they promised, they're going to be undoing in their very first vote. You pointed out the rules that they're going to be setting for the policy is going to have a new closed rule that only one person sets the budget limit. They are also going to say that if we ever bust the budget on health care, we don't have to pay for that. It's the only thing we won't. And I hope that these Republican guys that got elected, who say, you know what, this is not about Democrat or Republican, it's about getting this shit back in order, they should all vote no. Because they are not going to be able to say they care about deficits after voting for these rules. About
health care reform, the Republicans in the House say they will draw enough Democratic support to pressure the Senate to follow suit for a repeal. Are House Democrats actually going to support any part of repeal?
There might be some. There's a little bit of division within our caucus about this. I welcome this fight. We didn't do a great job messaging this thing the last time. We didn't do a very good job drawing blood on the Republicans. They want to vote their very first vote to take away prescription drug money from senior citizens, to take away coverage for young Americans 21 to 26, to take away coverage for people who have pre-existing conditions. This is the first thing they want to do. If they want to have that fight, bring it on, Chickie. I think that that's exactly the kind of a debate that we want to have. But will they get a Democrat? Perhaps they will. There is polling out there that shows that this hasn't been very popular, but all its constituent parts are very popular.
The things that were just signed into law yesterday that the president made a note of seem to be really popular. Right. About the whole issue, the budget balancing issue, there's a new poll out of Vanity Fair in 60 Minutes. Three very interesting numbers. 3% say that the best way to do this is to cut Social Security. 4% say that the best way is to cut Medicare. 61% say the best way is to raise taxes on the rich to balance the budget. With those somewhat lopsided numbers, why are the Republicans and to some degree the White House moving towards a solution, a remedy that is favored by essentially the margin of error in a poll?
Yeah, because the American people understand a couple of things. One, they understand that Social Security contributes zero to the deficit. There's actually a giant surplus in Social Security right now. It's all about the future, and frankly, modest changes can help deal with that. They also understand this basic sense of fairness in this country. This whole notion of this being class warfare, it's not. It's just that who should bear the burden here? And the middle class and those struggling to make it have had their incomes be flat over the last 10 years. They're struggling more and more, and every time they open the newspaper, it seems like we're throwing the millionaires and billionaires a little help that they don't even want. And I say something else. I think most of the very well-to-do in this country, if you have an honest conversation about the state that we're in, will probably say, you know what, I don't need another $100,000 tax cut. And that's where the American people, as always, are way ahead of the Republican Congress.
Yeah, 40% of those rich people also said the best way to balance the budget is to do this. But why does the White House seem to be listening to compromises on particularly Social Security?
I hope that they're right when they said, that compromise that they did at the end of last year that I opposed was the last time they're going to do one like that now they're going to start start standing up more. I want to see the next 2 years. The Republicans have done a very good job of saying what they're against. Now let's see what they're for. And make this, there's some things I think we should compromise on. You know, I want to try to reduce the deficit with my Republican colleagues, but some things we should dig in and say these are about the values of our country and whether fairness for the middle class is a basic democratic value and we should stick to it.
Yeah. Congressman Anthony Weiner, Democrat of New York, always a pleasure to see you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Happy New Year.
You got it.